I'm R. Sucharita, Department of English, GDC Karatabad, Hyderabad. So, a hearty welcome to the students of BA, BSc, BCom second year. Today I'm going to present Toasted English, which is written by R.K. Narayan, part 2. So, this is Toasted English, which is written by R.K. Narayan, part 2. In the previous video, we have learned the pre-reading activity. Then we have learnt about the author R.K. Narayan and we have learned the glossary. So today I'm going to start the lesson. So listen carefully. Toasted English, R.K. Narayan. In the American restaurants, they call for toasted English, referring to English muffins, which, though being made in America, now retain English as a sort of concession to their origin. The same may be said of their language too. Americans too went through a phase of throwing out the British but retaining their language and letting it flourish on American soil. The resultant language is somewhat different from its British counterpart. It may be said to have gone through a process of toasting. One noticeable result of this toasting is that much of the formalism surrounding the use of English has been abandoned. So, in the American restaurants, so you know what is a restaurant? Something like a hotel. So, in American restaurants, they call for toasted English, referring to English muffins. So, they call this toasted English referring to English muffins. Yesterday, I told you what is a muffin. So, it is a cup shaped bread. So, which, though being made in America, now retain English as a sort of concession to their origin. So, here, America now it retains. Retains means it absorbs and it continues to hold this English language as a sort of concession to their origin. So the same may be said of their language too. Americans too went through a phase of throwing out the British but retaining their language. So we say from the ages that British English is the standard English. So when it went through the American soil, what did the Americans do? They went through this phase of throwing out the British language, but still it wants to retain that English language. I told you, retain it is to absorb and continue. So it retained their language and letting it to flourish on American soil. So as we know that English is an international language, so here it flourishes on even on American soil. So the resultant language is somewhat different from its British counterpart. So there is a difference between the British counterpart and the American language. There is difference between the British, the words or the vocabulary they choose, and the Americans, the vocabulary they choose or the words they choose. The same words, they use it differently, but it is called as English language. So it may be said to have gone through a process of toasting. So what happened here? So when the British English when it went to this process of toasting means it went through a change. So one noticeable result of this toasting is that much of the formalism surrounding the use of English has been abandoned. So, in British English, we find a lot of formalism. So, when it comes to American English, so this British formal English has been abandoned. Abandoned means it to give up. To give up is called as abandon. So in America, they have freed the language from the stifling tyranny. So the Americans, they felt that speaking in British English is something like stifling, something like suffering, or something, it is like suffocation. So that is why they have freed the British English language into somewhat some more easy. So they felt that it was a stifling tyranny of the passive voice. So where we could say ceremoniously trespassing prohibited. So here there is a slide. So here the signboard trespassing prohibited. I think you have seen the signboard where the work will be going on. They keep a signboard which is called as trespassing prohibited, especially in India. Such signboards we have come across. So, very politely, ceremoniously means very politely, they keep these signboards that is trespassing prohibited. Their signboards, as I noticed in the parks of Berkeley, merely say newly planted don't walk. So when you go to this parks of Berkeley, so there how it is written the same meaning, that is trespassing prohibited, is toasted. That means it is changed and it is written like newly planted don't walk, which means the same. Trespassing prohibited or newly planted don't walk means the same. So, or absolutely no parking, or no parking, simply they write, leaves no room for speculation and no motorist need spend too much time peering out and studying the notice. So, something they feel that they have made easy. So, the motorist or the person who is passing by, he need not waste his time peering out and studying the notice and thinking about it. Just no parking they can understand. Or if it is written newly planted, don't walk. So, like that, they made that is the process of toasting English. They need not spend too much time peering out and studying the notice. So, in a similar situation, our authorities are likely to plant a 20-line inscription on the landscape to say under municipal act so and so, and especially in India, the municipal authority, they write a 20-line inscription. That means the text which is carved is called as inscription, okay, on the stone or on the plaque. So like that they write a 20-line inscription on the landscape to say under municipal act so and so this area has been reserved, etc., etc., and any vehicle stationed thereon will be deemed to have contravened. So, to contravene means to deny or act contrary to an order. So, that is called as contravene. Subjection, so and so of the Motor Vehicles Act, etc. Like that, they will be written in a 20 lining inscription, means in a very long manner they'll be writing for the motor vehicles. Okay, so like that, a lot of time will be wasted reading it, and some people they don't understand too. So I saw on many American office doors, just do not enter. And here, R.K. Narayan, he says that on the American office doors, I have seen, sorry, I have seen that it is written, do not enter. That's all. The traffic signs at pedestrian crossings never mince words. They just say go or wait. And there he says near the traffic signs also, the pedestrians, while they are crossing, they never mince words. So for them it is so easy. They just say go. That's all. The vehicles will be moving or wait. If it comes as wait, the vehicles will be waiting. That's all. It is so easy. Go or wait. So in a Hollywood studio, I was rather startled to read Mark Stevens' Keep Out. So when R.K. Narayan, when he went to this Hollywood studio, he was rather startled. Startled means he was very much surprised to read. So what it was written there near the Hollywood studio, Mark Stevens, keep out. So what does this mean? Mark Stevens, and there's a hyphen, and it's written keep out. So, this Mark Stevens, he's a busy television personality who did not like to be disturbed by visitors because a lot of visitors come and they visit. So, he doesn't like to be disturbed by visitors. So, that is why on his door he has written Mark Stevens keep out. So, incidentally, it left me wondering why, if Mr. Mark Stevens does not like interruptions, he should announce his name at all on the door. But it is one of the minor mysteries that make travel through that country so engrossing. Engrossing means we like to absorb the attention. So, like that, it was a different world when R.K. Narayan visited these places. So he felt very much startled, and he felt very much surprised, and he was thinking that he should announce his name at all on the door. But it is one of the minor mysteries, he says, that make travel through that country, and it is so engrossing, and it absorbed his attention. So the toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. Americans have evolved certain basic keywords which may be used anywhere, anyhow. Words which have universal multipurpose use. I may make my point clear if I mention the example of the word check, which may safely be labeled the American national expression, while British usage confines to its bare dictionary definitions. The American uses it anywhere where this expression being so devised that one may blindly utter it and still find that it is appropriate for occasion. I'll check means I'll find out, investigate, examine, scrutinize, verify, or probe. Your check means your ticket, token, or whatever you may have to produce. Check room is where you have to leave your possessions for a while. Check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella, or anything else you may leave in custody. Check in and check out. At first I heard it as check out and felt rather disturbed. Refer to one's arrival in a hotel and departure therefrom, and there are scores of other incidental uses for the word. If you are ever hard up for a noun or a verb, you may safely utter the word check and feel confident that it will fit in. Fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely without much premeditation. Of course, everyone knows that fabulous means, but the American usage has enlarged its sense. I found a lady in Wisconsin declare, "Oh, those cats of mine are fabulous," meaning that they are eccentric. Oh, so, and so he's fabulous may mean anything from a sincere complaint to an insinuation that so and so displays a mild form of charming lunacy. So, the toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. So, we have seen the signboard and that is trespassing prohibited. The same trespassing prohibited also means newly planted don't walk. This is a type of toasting, and then we see the other type of toasting. Okay, so the toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. Americans have evolved certain basic keywords which may be used anywhere, anyhow. So these Americans, they have evolved in using certain basic keywords. So those are anywhere, anyhow, words which have universal, multi-purpose use. So universally and multi-purposely you can use one single word. So I may make my point clear if I mention the example of the word check. You know, he focuses on one single word, check, CHECK, which may safely be labeled the American national expression. So just they have chosen just one word, that is check, and it is labeled as the American national expression. So we'll see in how many ways they use this word check. So while British usage confines it to its bare dictionary definitions. So when we speak British English, it is confined, that is, it is restricted to its bare dictionary definitions. But the Americans uses it anywhere. They use this word check anywhere. So, this expression being so devised that one may blindly utter it and still find that it is appropriate for the occasion. So, whereas British English, it's a formal English and it should be spoken according to the meaning of the dictionary. But here, American people, just the word check, they'll be blindly uttering, and still they find it appropriate for the occasion. There are a lot of examples now we are going to see on one single word check. So, I'll check means I'll find out, or investigate, examine, or scrutinize. So, the meaning of scrutinize is still to inspect very closely. That is called as scrutinize or verify or probe. Probe is also examine. So, this is the meaning of check. So, here in American language, your check means your ticket. So, this language, check, in America, it means your ticket or token or whatever you may have to produce. So, when they say check, you have to show your ticket or you have to show your token or whatever you have to produce. But don't confuse that it is something like investigating or examining or scrutinizing. So, like that. Then, check room. So, what does this word check room? You can see in the slide. So, check room is where you leave your possessions for a while. that is your belongings or your luggage or your suitcase or whatever it is. So leaving all your possessions in a room, and that room is called as check room. Then check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella, or anything else you may leave in custody. And what does this check girl mean? That means she takes care of all your belongings. It may be your coat or it may be your umbrella or anything else you may leave in custody. So she takes care of all these things. So that girl, she is called as check girl. Then check in and check out. At first I heard it as check out. So here Narayan, he says that we pronounce in Indian English that it is check in and check out. But how do they pronounce? They pronounce. So he says that at first I heard them pronouncing is a check out, and I felt rather disturbed when I heard this word. What is this check out? So it refers to one's arrival in a hotel. So here checkout means the meaning or the actual meaning of this checkout means it refers to one's arrival in a hotel and departure therefrom. And there are scores of other incidental uses for the word. Scores, I told you the meaning. The score means it is 20. So scores is many. So there are scores of incidental uses of this single word that is called as checkout. So if you are ever hard up for a noun or a verb, you may safely utter the word check. So if you want to speak, the safest word there it is check, and you can feel confident that it will fit in. Then fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely. So we have seen the word check, and the next word is fabulous. So fabulous is also another word that in that country they use it in a very free manner. They'll be uttering freely without much premeditation. So actually fabulous means it is outstanding or excellent. So we'll see how they use it. Of course, everyone knows what fabulous means, but the American usage has enlarged its sense. But these people, the Americans, how is their usage regarding fabulous? Meaning that they are eccentric. That means something like strange. They use it there. So fabulous means they use it for the meaning of eccentric, which means strange. Oh, so and so he's fabulous. Many may mean anything from a sincere complaint to an insinuation. So, just the word fabulous, it can start with a sincere complaint to where to insinuation. Insinuation means indirectly hinting you. That is called as insinuation. That so and so displays a mild form of charming lunacy. So, like that, it is displayed in a very mild form, which is of charming lunacy. Lunacy means it is insane. INSANE, insane. Now, so first we have seen the word check and then fabulous, and then the next expression is okay. Okay, okay. Okay is another well known example. Okay is also another well known example you can see. So, okay is another well known example. It is the easiest sound that ever emanated from the human vocal cords. Everyone knows how comprehensive its sense can be. Okay is a self sufficient word which needs no suffix to indicate any special respect for the listener. It can stand by itself without a sir to conclude the sentence. In this respect, it is like yeah, which seals off a sentence without further ado. Yes, sir, or yes, darling, is conceivable. But yeah, sir, or yeah, darling, is unthinkable. Ya is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt, which almost snaps off any further continuation of a sentence. Years involves time as the sibilant could not prolong. So we have seen that OK is another well-known example, which we'll see how they use it. It is the easiest sound. Even we two Indians, we use this OK a lot many times in the day because it is very easy. Okay, okay. So many times we use because it is that ever emanated, which is manifested from the human vocal cords. Even the illiterate people also use this word okay. So everyone knows how comprehensive its sense can be. Okay is a self sufficient word which needs no suffix. If you just say okay, or if you just produce the sound okay, that is self sufficient. There is no need of using or adding suffix to it. So, this okay is a self sufficient word to indicate any special respect for the listener. It can stand by itself without a sir. So, you need not say, okay, sir, okay, madam, just okay. It is self sufficient, it's understood. So, that is the expressions they use to conclude the sentence. So, in this respect, it is like yeah. So, when you speak with your friends or with uh, any people, you say yeah, yeah, yeah. You say. So, in this respect, it is like yeah, which seals off a sentence. Just with the word yeah, the sentence is sealed. You need not go further with the sentence. The sentence is sealed off without further ado. So, yes, sir, or yes, darling, is conceivable. So, they say yes, sir, or yes, darling, that is conceivable. But yeah, sir, or yeah, darling, is unthinkable. So, we don't use such expressions, and it looks so odd. Yeah, sir, or yeah, darling. It is unthinkable. So, yeah is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt. So, as we utter the word okay, in the same way, yeah is also uttered in the short base of the tongue grunt. Grunt means it is a rough voice. It is this word which is often used in the daily life, which almost snaps off any further continuation of the sentence. So, just ya is also a self sufficient word and no need of continuing the sentence further. So, yes involves time as the sibilant could not prolong. So, yes, there is a hissing sound, sibilant. I told you S, Z, all these. So yes involves it. Yes, it involves time as the sibilant could not prolong. So the refinements of usage in countries where English has a bazaar status are worth a study. On a London bus, you will never hear the conductor say, ticket, ticket. He approaches the passenger and says, thank you. And on receiving the fare says, thank you, sir. I found out that one could calculate the number of passengers in a bus by halving the total number of thanks heard. In any Western country, if a receptionist asks, can I help you? It really means, have you any business here? If so, state it. Or it may mean, evidently, you have wandered off into a wrong place. Go away. A man who wants to pass you always says, excuse me, while he may, with all justice, burst out. What do you mean by standing there gaping at the world while you block everybody's passage? Stand aside, man, when you send your card in. The busy man secretary appears and whispers in your ear, would you like to wait? Though the tone is one of consultation, you have really no choice in the matter. The thing to do is not to answer the question but say thanks and look for a comfortable seat in the waiting room, although they may feel like saying, no, I wouldn't like to wait. I have other things to do. So we'll see what are the refinements of usage in countries where English has a bazaar status. That is, English is spoken in the marketplaces. It is spoken everywhere. That is in the buses and everywhere, because it has reached in such countries the bazaar status are worth a study. On a London bus, so R.K. Narayan, he shares his experience here when he entered into the London bus. What happened? On a London bus, you will never hear the conductor cry ticket, ticket. So in our Indian buses, the Indian conductors, they will be shouting ticket, 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 ticket. But in the London buses, you never hear the conductors crying ticket, ticket. He just approaches the passenger. He goes close to the passenger and he says, thank you. And on receiving the fare says, thank you, sir. So he just approaches the passenger and he says, thank you. And immediately the passenger, he will give him the required fare. And immediately he will be again replying him as thank you, sir. So I found out that one could calculate the number of passengers in a bus by halving the total number of thanks heard. So like that, thank you and the total number of passengers, by making them half, you will be finding out the actual fare received. So that is their type of collecting the fare from the passengers. So in any Western country, if a receptionist asks, can I help you? So in a Western country, there are receptionists where you go and they will be speaking, can I help you? So what is the actual meaning of this, can I help you? It really, the inner meaning of this expression is, have you any business here? If so, state it. So immediately when they ask, can I help you? You have to understand that they are asking you that if you have any business here in this place. If it is, then you have to tell them. Or it may mean, evidently, you have wandered off into a wrong place, go away. So if you don't have any answer to state, then you have to understand that you have come to the wrong place and you have to go away. So that is the actual real meaning of can I help you. So, a man who wants to pass you always says, "Excuse me." And a man who wants to pass you always says, "Who wants to pass?" What does he say? In India, also, we use this expression, "Excuse me." While he may, with all justice, burst out, "What do you mean by standing there gaping at the world while you block everybody's passage?" So, that is the actual meaning inside. So, excuse me means what? You are standing there gaping at the world and you are blocking everybody's passage. So, that is the actual meaning of excuse me. Then stand aside, man. So, that is the way they express. So, when you send your card in, the busy man secretary appears and whispers in your ear, "Would you like to wait?" So, when you send your card to that busy man's secretary, he appears and he comes and he will be speaking in your ear. He whispers in your ear, "Would you like to wait?" So, though the tone is one of consultation, the tone is very sweet, but you have really no choice in the matter. The thing to do is not to answer the question, but say thanks. So, would you like to wait? Your answer should not to give the reply, but you should just say thanks, because thanks, and you have to look for a comfortable seat in the waiting room. Okay, so although you may feel like saying, "No, I wouldn't like to wait, I have other things to do." So even though you feel like saying, but even then, your utterance should be thanks, and you have to go and look for a comfortable seat in the waiting room. Then the time has come for us to consider seriously the question of a Bharat brand of English. So far, English had a comparatively confined existence in our country, chiefly in the halls of learning, justice, or administration. Now the time is ripe for it to come to the dusty street, marketplace, and under the banyan tree. English must adopt the complexion of our life and assimilate its idiom. I'm not suggesting a mongrelization of the language. I'm not recommending that we should go back to the days when we heard, particularly in the railway, "Where you going, man?" Bharat English will respect the rule of law and maintain the dignity of grammar, but still have a Swadeshi stamp on it unmistakably, like the Madras handloom check shirt or the Tirupati doll. So, the time has come for us to consider seriously the question of a Bharat brand of English. So, here R.K. Narayan is advising Indians and Indian people very seriously that what is he saying? The time has come for us and we have to consider seriously the question of a Bharat brand of English. So far, English has had a comparatively confined existence. That means confined, I told you, it is a restricted existence. According to the dictionary meaning, we used the English language. So, chiefly in the halls of learning, we have halls of learning and justice, and or administration rule. Now the time is ripe for it to come to the dusty street. So we have just confined English language only to the halls of learning. That means schools, colleges, law courts, or in administration. But now the time is ripe, and English, it should come to the dusty street. That means English should be heard in the streets. People should be speaking in English in Indian streets, and it should come to the marketplace. So, this is the marketplace. So, you have to speak English in marketplaces in India and also under the banyan tree. Wherever you are, you should be practicing and speaking in English. So, English must adopt the complexion of our life. So, in English language should be the complexion of our life. So, nowadays it is a breath of our life. Without English, we can't live. If there's no air, we can't live, isn't it? In the same way, English language has also got that place. So, it is of our life and assimilate. That means you have to regard its idiom. I'm not suggesting here a mongrelization. So he's advising, and at the same time, R.K. Narayan says that I'm not suggesting here a mongrelization. Mongrelization means don't mix it, or don't make it impure of the language. I'm not recommending that we should go back to the days when we heard, particularly in the railway. So when we go back to the days when we heard, especially in the railways, where are you going, man? That is the way they speak. But Bharat brand will respect the rule of law, and it maintains the dignity of grammar. So, Indian people, the learned Indian people, always they have dignity for grammatical rules. They try to speak grammatically correctly. So, but still have a Swadeshi stamp. They still have a Swadeshi stamp on it unmistakably, like the Madras handloom check shirt. They have that Swadeshi stamp of India, like the Madras handloom check shirt or the Tirupati doll. So, with this, we have completed Toasted English, which is written by R.K. Narayan. So, to sum up, what does R.K. Narayan suggest us? That we have to speak English language as a native speaker. So, now the time is ripe. So, he says that it should be heard in the dusty streets. English language should be heard in the dusty Indian streets, and then Indian marketplaces, English should be heard. And then under the banyan trees, when you sit, you have to do conversation in English language. So it should, each and every place should be turned to the halls of learning. And at the same time, he is suggesting us that there shouldn't be any mongrelization. That means it should not be made impure. So, as Indians, we focus on what is that the Bharat brand of English means. We give dignity to grammatical rules. Speaking English in a correct way. So, like that, he suggests us, and he taught us what is British English and what is American English, and what are the inner meanings of the expressions of Americans. And we ought to learn all these and implement them. Thank you.